make a move in the ring. You can hit me with a word you fling.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Nick Hatkin on South China Morning Post, scmp.com/MMA. This is the post-fight podcast. Today, I'm going to be breaking down UFC Fight Island 4 from Abu Dhabi, Holm against Irene Aldana. As usual, my guest is John Honko. John, how is this Sunday treating you?
Not so good, man. I gotta confess that I got all my picks wrong in the main event, or not a main event, in the main card. Every single pick was wrong, and I apologize to anybody that went with my picks. If you're watching this and you went with my picks and you got them all wrong, just a disclaimer: please do not choose what I choose. Just listen to what we have to say, be entertained. But don't rely on us for all your bets, because I don't think that's gonna work out. That was the worst event of the year so far. I got all my picks. I've never gotten all my picks wrong. The worst is maybe, half of the picks I got right. But this time I don't understand what happened. I must be losing my touch. Maybe because I bragged the last podcast about how I'm number one in picks, and you know how the MMA gods treat you when you brag and you go too far. They cast down the lightning strikes, and that's what happened to me. But yeah, I enjoyed this event. There were some good fights on here. There were some surprising outcomes and some performances that you saw the evolution of certain fighters, and that's one thing that I love to see during shows, is something that you don't expect, and then it surprises you, and then you learn more about that fighter through their performance. So let's get right into it, Nick.
Yeah, so you picked Aldana, huh?
Yeah, I thought Aldana was going to come in here and be able to use her boxing.
Well, I'm just going to say, before we break it all down, I got some buddies here in Hong Kong who are launching this new fantasy app for MMA. So maybe we're thinking of using it to just make our picks official on the show, so we can bring up the picture of all our picks and make it a bit easier. We can hold you and Chris to justice if you get them wrong, and ridicule, and we can have a competition show who actually got more right. But Chris isn't here again. Hopefully we'll have Chris back next week. But anyway, yeah, please get back to it. Holm getting a very, very unanimous decision, wasn't it, against Aldana? 50-45 on two scorecards, 50-44 on one scorecard. That must have been the final round, was a 10-8. Very, very good from Holm. She looked resurgent. We shouldn't write her off just yet, hey?
Not at all. I was one of those people that thought Holmes was not evolving, throughout our last couple of fights. But man, she came out here and just shut everything down, shut everybody up, shut me up. And now I'm flipping to the other side and praising her for her performance, because she showed every aspect of MMA in this fight. You know what I mean? Of course, we know she's a great striker. She got power in her hands and in her feet. But man, her movement, it's always there. But man, this time she just was just too elusive for Aldana. In every single round, it was just like a complete domination of Holly Holmes. Mixing in takedowns, advancing on the ground, getting into, dominant positions, raining down punches. Man, it was so good. It was such a great performance. I think it was the best performance we've seen out of Holly Holmes, besides her, her title winning performance against Ronda Rousey. It's she's older, as a woman fighting in the division, or just in MMA in general. But man, she's showing that, man, she's not done, and it's not going to be a while before she is done. I think she's going to make another run for this title. The UFC, they love giving her, title shots, and she could probably get another one off this performance, because if you think about it, Aldana was probably going to get a title shot if she beat Holly Holm, and then you beat the girl that's supposed to be in line for the title shot. Why doesn't that put you in line for another title shot? Or she could fight, someone else that's up there, which is we're going to talk about her, later on in the podcast. But yeah, Germaine de Randamie, she's also up there too. So
well, yeah, Holly Holm is going to turn 39 in a couple of weeks. I think she's her 60th pro fight. if you count boxing and kickboxing. She's not slowing down, is she? And I think we should, there wasn't a co-main event before or after the Randamie. Why don't we talk about the Randamie fight now as well? Because that was impressive as well. Another veteran, former featherweight champ and bantamweight challenger. You think they can do this at 135? The Randamie and Holm, and the winner gets the next shot at Nunes, because Nunes is going to be busy, isn't she? Defending the featherweight title against Megan Anderson, I think in December. So we got time. We can do Holm v. Randamie. Randamie got the first submission of her career against Julianna Pena. I thought that was impressive as well, wasn't it, John?
Man, that was a shock to me, because when I envisioned this fight before it happened, I thought that Julianna Pena was going to go in there, clinch up, and get that takedown, go to the ground, advance, and try to get the submissions. And man, she basically seemed like tired out, fatigued or whatever. And Randamie, she got to show her ground skills, man. That wasn't just a normal guillotine right there. That was like a guillotine from a unique angle, and she choked her unconscious. Not like she just choked her and got the tap. She choked her unconscious, man. She's showing another side of her game also. And she's not a young fighter either. She's a spring chick. She's not no spring chicken, right? So they don't have much time left, you know what I mean? Her and Holly Holm. And I think that the UFC needs to push these girls, these women, into spots where they can fight for the title, while they're able to with their skill set that they have right now, man. Because both of them are developing, and in this spot where it almost seems like they're like prolonging their prime as a fighter, both her and Holly Holm. So why not have them fight each other for the next title shot, like you said, before the year ends, in December. When is UFC 256 or 255? That's in December, right?
I mean, it makes sense.
255 in November.
Yeah, I think because 254 is this month, so if you're thinking one per month, 256 December gives Amanda a bit of time of maternity leave, right? So
yeah, so you get the rematch, and whoever wins that gets the next shot against Amanda Nunes, because she's fighting for the featherweight. She's defending her featherweight title, right, against Megan Anderson. So no matter what the result is of that fight, she's gonna go back down and defend that 135-pound belt. So why not have one of these two line up perfectly? And you still got some, up and comers in that division. You got Aspen Ladd at 135, and a couple other women still there. Let them, fight and figure it out, and let these veterans of the division go back up and see if they could take the crown from Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, that was a great guillotine choke, wasn't it? Third round. I think it was performance of the night. Is that correct? So she got 50 G's, baby, as she said in the interview afterwards. I am up for that fight. I think it makes sense. But what about this co-main event? It was kind of fun, wasn't it? Carlos Felipe getting a unanimous decision against Yorgan de Castro. Two big boys who seem to know where the buffet is at the hotel, surely.
Just like myself, I know where the buffet is too, so I'll be right next to them walking towards it. I'm pretty sure they're enjoying it right now. Yeah, it was an interesting fight. I felt like a lot of people was looking at De Castro as the favorite going in, and because he has that knockout power, and we've seen it on display. Felipe, a little bit more unknown as a fighter, but man, he took full advantage of this spot in the co-main event and won it, man. Took that shine from De Castro, because, man, I feel like a lot of people they underestimated Felipe, and he did it, man. He showed off, you know what I mean? After he won, his coach was all hyped up. And yeah, I just wonder, where does Felipe go from here? I guess he called out Pasao, which someone was saying was one of the worst call outs of all time. Because why would you call out a guy that that he's probably on a losing streak? You probably want to punch up, right, in that position. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be on a main card anytime soon. But man, he's a guy that now we know who he is, because he beat Yorgan, and we're gonna have to keep an eye on him to see what he does in this division.
Yeah, what about this one? Cameron Else against Kyler Phillips. This was I thought I liked this fight, and Cameron looked good in the beginning, I thought, but Kyler Phillips just turned it on and absolute. It was a TKO second round, I think. Yeah, he looks like a prospect. 25 years old. I think he's 9-1. I mean, just check his record. But yeah, you impressed by Kyler Phillips?
Oh yeah, I've always known the abilities of Kyler Phillips. I thought that Cameron Else, the stylistic matchup that he brings forth in this fight, I thought that he was gonna go in there and press forward fast and start fast, and that's what Cameron Else was known for, and get the finish early. But it seemed like he had the octagon jitters, because in the beginning he didn't push forward and he didn't pressure Phillips as much, and then that allowed Phillips to kind of open up with his striking. And then when it was time for him to take the fight to the ground, he took it to the ground, and it showed what level Phillips is all around as a fighter compared to Else. And yeah, he got that finish in the second round, 44 seconds. It was pretty dominant performance by Kyler Phillips. He is a prospect in that bantamweight division. He has, it took a while for him to kind of get a couple fights in the UFC, but man, he's taken full advantage of his position there. And I don't know who he would fight next, to be honest with you. I could see him fighting like a veteran, a guy that has like a lot of experience in that bantamweight division. Someone like let's say Louis Smoka, a guy that has wins, he has losses, he has lots of experience. It will be a good test for a Kyler Phillips. Yeah, man, I see potential in him because he's flashy, he can strike, he has knockout power, and then
he looked like Masvidal. Had the Masvidal look, and he even went for the Masvidal flying knee in the first round. I think Cameron did well to just duck underneath that. They look kind of cool.
Yeah, I wish people stop trying to be like, Diego Sanchez did the same thing, and look what happened to him. He could barely get off the ground, right? So I think someone like Kyler Phillips, he could probably do it. But when you're like Diego Sanchez, you got to kind of pick your battles in the type of strikes that you want to throw. But when you got a coach like Joshua something, I forgot his name, Joshua Fabia, the guru, I guess you're able to do anything that you want in that cage because he gives you that confidence.
Yeah, sorry, it was 8-1. Kyler Phillips now has climbed to let me bring up this topology again. Thanks as always to those guys. Dusko Todorovic getting ground and pound TKO in the second round over Dequan Townsend. Impressive, I thought, from the Serbian. Dusko looks like he's the real deal, huh?
Yeah, he is a guy that I really underestimated in this fight. I thought Dequan.
You got that one wrong
Townsend,
again,
man. Yeah, I got all of them wrong. I took Cameron Else too. Yeah, man, I'm fully admitting it that I am a guy that you should probably stay away from in some in your parlays or picks or whatever. But man, when you look and dig deep into Dusko's prior experience, he's beaten some decent guys, man, in his past. He's beaten Alexander Popek, who is a major prospect himself in the European scene, and also he has a TKO finish over, guess who? Michel Pereira.
There you go.
Before he came into the UFC. So he's faced some decent talent. I thought Dequan Townsend was going to come in and be able to push forward, and I saw a couple interviews with him about how he wanted to how he has changed a lot in his surroundings, and he's been through, and he's fighting for himself now, which is a little bit different mentality coming in. But man, Dusko, he's just all around just a badass. Like, he came in and just defeated Dequan Townsend in every aspect of this fight. And man, when he got him in that mount, it looked like it was just, his hips were just too heavy, his punches were just too hard, and Dequan just couldn't figure out a way to get out of that position. And that's why the ref stopped the fight. You know what I mean? I thought that was a good stoppage too. I didn't think it was early or too late. I thought that Dequan, he just wasn't going to get out of that position. It was just going to take more damage. Yeah, Dusko, it's hard to say where it goes from here. Maybe Michel Pereira wants to rematch. I wouldn't mind seeing that in the UFC because I feel like Michelle Pereira is a much different fighter now compared to then. But yeah, man, Serbia, they got some really, really talented guys coming out of that region, and powerful guys too. We just need to pay more attention to that. Man, there's so many fighters out there to pay attention to. It's hard to like keep track of, who's fighting and who's not, because sometimes these guys don't fight for like more than a year, or or very extended periods of time. So you almost forget about a lot of them. But Dusko, man, he's a guy that you're not going to forget about. He's going to come in and bring some violence, and I'm really anticipating like who they set him up with next. But I think that the next trip to Fight Island, he's going to be definitely on there.
Yeah, two guys we cannot ever forget, I think. Carlos Condit and Court McGee. This was a banger, wasn't it? The natural-born killer Condit getting unanimous decision win. Really enjoyed this fight. I think it was at the top of the prelims. Yeah, 3 rounds of violence. I think Condit smashed up McGee's nose at the end of that first round when he dropped him, didn't he?
Yeah.
McGee got back up. To his credit, kept going. But yeah, Condit back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, I got this one wrong too. I thought McGee was gonna go in there and wrestle, and he didn't wrestle at all. Like, he didn't attempt to wrestle at any point in that fight. And you guys, everybody knows Carlos Condit. If you wrestle him, if you put him on his back, you're gonna probably end up being able to win that fight against him. But if you stand up and trade with him, you're taking a big chance of getting knocked out or getting really bloodied up. And you mentioned it, he got his nose completely broken. You could see it look like a like a disfigured river, like just terrible looking between rounds. But yeah, that was very confusing. Like, what was Court McGee doing? And from what I heard is that his main training partner was his son. I think he has a teenage son, and his son was his main training partner for this camp, which is very alarming. Like, how did you even prepare with having your kid, being part of your camp? But I guess everybody has their own methods and ways of how to prepare. And yeah, I think Court McGee, he underperformed extremely. Carlos Condit, he did look a lot better than he did in the last couple of fights, but I don't really see him making a resurgence at all, because the next guy that comes in, they're going to be a lot smarter in their approach of how to defeat Carlos Condit, and they're not going to sit there and trade with him. But maybe they'll give him another striker, who knows. But yeah, great that Carlos Condit got back into the win column after, I think he lost like 4 or 5 in a row. Court McGee, I don't know where he goes from here. I think he's getting up there in age, and he's taking a lot of damage too. So maybe him versus I got a good one. Him versus Diego Sanchez would be a good fight.
I don't want to see Diego Sanchez fight anymore. Come on.
I don't really mind it.
Yeah, it's a car crash
that you will watch though.
All right. Well, what about this one? This was a split draw. Charles Jourdain and Joshua Culibao. You agree with this? What did you make of this finish with this decision by the judges?
Oh man, I don't really mind draws, to be honest with you. This fight was close. I think like Culibao, he did a great job in the beginning rounds, and then Jourdain, he kind of took over towards the second half of the second round. So a draw is not too bad, but I thought this was a very entertaining fight. These guys went at it. They were in positions to finish the fight. There was knockdowns, there was submission attempts, there was wrestling, there was grappling, there were scrambles. These guys threw hard at each other, and I thought Josh Culibao, he performed much better than he did in his last fight, and I think he performed much better than people anticipated against Charles Jourdain, because a lot of people felt like Culibao was getting thrown to the wolves against Jourdain, and it just shows you like the level of talent that Culibao has, and him training with like Volkanovski, and coming off that first loss of his career in his UFC debut, the mentality that he had coming to this fight, it shows you that Culibao is going to continue to progress, continue to get better, and have a lot of a lot of great matchups coming up in the future with this featherweight division. And Culibao, man, I see him, with a bright future. We just need to see what his progression is in the next couple of fights. Jourdain, like you said, he felt like he underperformed, and I thought he did too. I completely agree with him. But one thing that he said is, "Who's Boss M. White? Who's that? Michael White?"
It's either Boss Man White or Mr. White. I don't know. But it looks like Dana White gave Jourdain his win money. So I don't know if Dana thought Jourdain won or if he's just feeling generous for all the sacrifices.
What about Culibao? Did Culibao get his win money? If you're going to give it Jourdain his win money, you should give Culibao his win money too, right? But yeah, I don't think Culibao's on Twitter like posting too many things.
76 followers.
Yeah, he's not a Twitter guy. You know how it is in Asia and in Australia. Twitter is not really the most popular social media.
This looks like a fake account anyway, because
probably is a fake account. But if you go to his management, Ginen, Ginen Sports, they post stuff about Culibao from time to time. But yeah, like hopefully he did get his a win bonus, and then they give him a fight right away. Man, I feel like this guy, he needs to get back in there. Jourdain too. Man, Jourdain has had some bad luck in his last couple of fights, right? He had that really close fight with Andre Fili that went to the split decision, and this time the split draw. What's next? Just the draw? I don't know. Maybe a robbery. He's leaning towards that in the future. But yeah, I think that if Jourdain learns from this fight, he needs to learn, like, man, I gotta finish these fights. I can't go to the judges anymore. Just like he did with the Korean Superboy, man. When he went in that third round, he was losing and he went for it all and he got the knockout. So hopefully he learns from that.
All right, Nassourdine Imavov got a unanimous decision. Went to the prelims now over Jordan Williams. I think you got anything to say about that otherwise we can skip straight to our girl Loma Lookboonmee, who also got a unanimous decision over Jinh Frey. But yeah, if you have anything to say, please do, John.
Well, in the Imavov and Williams fight, there was a lot of head clashes. A few head clashes in that fight. And then the referee didn't notice one of the head clashes, and then he just made the fighters continue fighting again. What is it? A low blow. There were some unique moments in the fight, but it was a gritty fight. Both these guys went at it. Imavov getting the unanimous decision. I don't know. I thought it was closer than that, but what do we know? We're not the judges. But Jordan Williams, he's the type of guy that's been through adversity throughout his whole career. I think he'll bounce back really well after this fight.
I'm just trying to find any video of that clash of heads. I don't think there is any on social media. Here is Imavov celebrating his big win. Yes, that is it. Pretty slim pickings for the GIFs and the videos on nothing on ESPN MMA today. Mm-hmm. Screwing us over, aren't they? No. We should be grateful for all that free content. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying, Loma Lookboonmee bounced back after she lost to Angela Hill last time out. It looked like Jinh Frey was trying to do what Angela did to Loma. But Loma showed that she's learned from that defeat, hadn't she? I think that was the most encouraging aspect of her victory. She's really worked on that with the guys at Tiger Muay Thai. Yeah,
she, you're right. It seemed like she was going in there with the similar game plan as Angela Hill. And, but Loma, she was doing a phenomenal job of circling to the side instead of kind of getting stuck back with her back against the fence, which played in favor of Angela Hill. And also it could have played into the favor of Jinh too. But, it was very confusing why Jinh didn't try to wrestle more from the start of the fight. Was she trying to reserve her gas tank? Because if you look at it, she, when in the third round after her corner told her, like, you need to go in there and win this fight, you're down 2 rounds, she went immediately for that single leg and got Loma onto the ground on her back. You know what I mean? And even though Loma got up, if you would have continued that, you know, you could have kind of drained the gas tank on Loma, but she didn't do that at all. And Loma, what did Jinh do in the beginning? From the beginning, is get into the clinch against Loma, and which that was confusing too. It's like, why would you want to get into the clinch against a Muay Thai specialist? And then what did Loma do? Loma gained confidence from that by landing those elbows, you know, and landing those knees. And then when they did break away from each other, she was hitting her with that teep, you know, hitting the body with the kicks, hitting the head. You know, she was flowing, and I felt like she gained a lot of confidence from the last fight, and then in this fight, as it was playing out, she was gaining more confidence, you know, and letting her strikes fly, and I think that experience of her fighting Angela Hill, it just benefited her tremendously, and then went into this fight and even matured more during this fight and showed another side of her game where she can get taken down and get back up. And eventually we're going to see her take other girls down because she's working on her wrestling and her grappling a lot more. And man, we haven't even seen like the peak of Loma yet. You know, I don't even think we're going to see it until like 2022. I think the next year, 2021, we're going to see her fight a couple more times against like the mid-tier fighters and gain more confidence, gain more ring time, and gain more of her skill set. She's not even at 10 fights as a professional yet, so she's got a long time, you know, to develop. She's only 24. Man, it's the sky is the limit for Loma. You know, a lot of, you know, she has a lot of historic moments coming in her career we haven't even reached yet. And it's cool to just be able to like watch her develop. And, you know, we support Asian MMA, any fighter coming out of Asia, not just Asian fighters, but any fighter coming out of Asia. But yeah, Loma's a special talent, and with the Hickman brothers out there, George and Frank, they got full confidence in her, and them just focusing on Thai fighters in general. You know, you got Top Noi, who wants to be the first male Thai fighter to enter the UFC, and that could be a possibility really soon. We might see him there. But with Loma, man, she's probably on cloud nine right now. But the thing about her is her mentality is get the win, go back to Thailand, continue her progression. And if you've seen her, she was much bigger and thicker compared to last time. And I think her strength and conditioning coach Woody has built her into this like tank. And we're gonna see more of that tank come out as her fight as she competes more and more in the octagon. Man, it's cool to be able to experience that and see that development. And I'm pretty sure yourself and Matt Scott, he has followed her career along. He has followed her career and written about her many, many times. And if you want to check that out, go to scmp.com/mixed martial arts.
Yeah, well, Matt did the fight report for us, SCMP MMA, and we were talking, me and Matt, about how it just wouldn't be great if the UFC made a female atomweight division, because I just think it would be perfect for Loma. As you said, though, she is putting on the size. I do think UFC is missing a trick, though, by not having that division. I think there's so many fighters they could bring in, especially from Asia. Some building works going on in my apartment or above it. Sorry if you can hear that. But as you also said, Loma will celebrate. There's a funny video on Casey O'Neill's Instagram story. Casey's there, obviously helping Loma from Tiger Muay Thai. So Loma had beer, right, for the first time after the first win in the UFC in Singapore. Mm-hmm. So this time she is trying champagne for the first time. Here you go. I don't know if there's any audio on it, but go on, get it open. There you go. Yeah. Loma having fun. Hope she enjoyed that.
Yeah. I think she lives like a monk, you know?
Yeah.
She lives like a monk. So it's like when she does celebrate, like drinks champagne or drinks a beer, it's a very random, occasion. So yeah, she needs to enjoy that. And I guess, they can't really go enjoy Fight Island too much. There's nothing really to do there, but get back, and they're gonna have to do a 2-week quarantine in Thailand when they get back to Thailand, which probably sucks terribly. But hey, the sacrifice you have to make to go compete you got to do it. You're a fighter. You know, there's so many fighters sitting around doing nothing right now.
Yeah, congratulations to Loma. Not saying that just because she follows us on Twitter, and no, we have followed her career for ages, and it's great to see her. I'm not going to look at everything, but there you go. Yeah.
Well, I got this pick right.
Oh, you got Loma right. Okay. Well, we're always going to root for Loma, aren't we? It looks like she is enjoying it as much as possible. Here you go. Oh, straight down the hat.
The whole
I didn't
bottle.
even eat breakfast yet. Oh.
There he is, your mate.
Great to see. Great to see.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I look forward to seeing what's next for Loma in the UFC. We better round out this card though quickly. Continuing on. Oh, this was another of our Asian interests. Alateng Heili, the Mongolian knight. Unfortunately for Alateng, got pieced up, didn't he, by Casey Kenney? A unanimous decision, but it was a pretty dominant win for the American, wasn't it?
Yeah, complete domination. Casey Kenney, he told me in our interview before the fight that either he's going to take out Alateng or he's going to be a bloody mess. And man, Alateng was a bloody mess by the end of this fight. Casey went in there with just superior striking and kept this fight on the feet. And Alateng, man, he was, I don't know, I'm very suspicious if he was really fully prepared for this fight, is because he didn't try to take down Kenney at all, and he just stood there and just took kick after kick after kick to the body. Did you see that picture of his midsection? It was just
red raw, wasn't
like
it?
It was very raw. It just looked like someone took a meat hammer and just took it to his ribs. Somebody was saying that Alateng didn't even have a liver because he took so many shots and didn't even feel the effects of it. But man, it just shows you the toughness and the grit of Alateng, and then it also shows you the development and the skill set and the striking ability of Casey Kenney to go in there and just do a complete domination. There, if you looked at Casey's face, there was nothing, and Alateng was a bloody mess, like I said earlier. This is the first loss for Alateng in the UFC. His first two fights, they're impressive wins over Ryan Benoit and Dana Baccarel, in both in Asia. And when you look at it, it's just like Alateng, was he kind of rushed into this spot against Casey Kenney, even though he had a good amount of time to get ready. I'm very skeptical about like what is the camps like in China. Did they have
there's that body? Oh.
Yeah, there's the body right there. Man, that's rough right there. That's gonna be hurting for a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's just like Kenney, he's just moving back up the ranks, and he should probably get somebody in the top, let's say 20 in his next fight. Alateng, he steps back a spot. A notch.
10-8s here, right?
Yeah. So it's hard to say what Alateng, what happens to him next, but he's still a decent prospect. You know what I mean? It's not like it's over for him, but he's gonna learn from this fight and move forward. What is that?
Yeah.
Alateng's ribs getting ready to be kicked as the 20th time.
Oh, it's that San Andreas meme,
Yeah, GTA.
Classic. Yeah, well, good win for Casey Kenney. What do you think's next for him?
Yeah, it's like I said, a top 20 opponent. They have to at least give him that respect. He was ranked a year ago. I think he was ranked like number 14 in the bantamweight division.
15-2, man. Not bad, is it?
Yeah. I would say he fights Kyler Phillips, but they train at the same place. They're basically teammates. So I don't think that's going to happen. But both those guys, big wins for the MMA lab in Arizona.
What about our guy, the first fight of the night, the Italian stallion from Brazil?
Yeah,
Luigi
I got this. You see, the first 3 fights I got right. I took Luigi because his name, and then he was the Italian stallion that was from Brazil. And I took Kenney. I told you that Kenney was going to be able to outstrike him. And then I took Loma, and then the rest of them were just, dodgy at best. All right. But yeah, Luigi getting in there and just, I think he also got a performance of the night, right, with this head kick knockout. Yeah, it was just impressive, man. And like I said, but in the previous show, Yesin, he does not fight. He's very inactive, and I guess this is the result of that. When you go in there and you're not ready, and this guy is gonna come in full force at you, and he got it done in less than in around 70 seconds. Very impressive, win for Luigi. I don't know where he goes from here. I'm pretty sure they're just gonna give him a random opponent in that one lightweight division. Yesin, man, it's hard to say like who he fights. I think the UFC is going to give him another chance, but it's not going to be a fight that's favorable for him. Luigi also, I think that they're going to throw him to the wolves, and they're going to put him in some fight that is not going to be favorable to for him. But that's the chance you got to take, and just like what is it, Randamie, come in and shock everybody.
I'm trying to find a video of that kick. It was a good one, that right on the neck, and then got him out of there with a couple of punches. I'm trying to find it. I saw it earlier.
Very impressive.
There's a guy talking about it. Don't know who that is.
There's so many bettors and handicappers and fantasy guys and stuff like that out there, and those guys study tape, man. If you're going to listen to a breakdown of fights, some of those guys, man, they have some crazy in-depth breakdowns and MMA math. They love the MMA math. I recommend it to watch some of those guys too. Luigi afterwards.
I'm about to give up on finding the video.
Yeah, the video is probably not even going to show it. I don't even know if they showed it. Did they? Oh, there it is.
I haven't got the VPN on. You can see it there.
Yeah, there's the neck right there.
2 years out. Must be good. Looked like he was in a rush opening minute, pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him. Oh, there's a celebration here. No, just that.
Just a celebration.
You might be able to see it behind this dude.
There it is. Looks like he won some money or something. Boom. Okay. Oh, there's a couple punches too before that.
You take his picks, not ours.
Yeah.
There's the kick. Boom. Down he goes. Couple punches.
Yeah, that's I don't think you needed those punches.
Good night, Irene, as Chevello says.
Yeah.
All right, that about wraps it up for the card. What have we got next week? We got One Championship is back, isn't it? Reign of Dynasties. With Josh Tonner against Sam A. Gayangdao. We've got Reese McLaren, the Alexei Toivonen, two Aussies going for it there. You've got Corey Sanhagen against Marlon Moraes, UFC Fight Island 5, I believe. And I think one is going to make a big announcement on Tuesday as to the big card on October 30th, which is stacked, I can say for sure.
Yeah. Well, next week, like you said, is going to be Moraes Sanhagen on Fight Island. Go check out our YouTube page. We got interviews with Corey Sanhagen, who's on the main event against Marlon. We got an interview with Chris Dawkins. He's a heavyweight prospect. He's also on the main card. Tony Kelly, he's coming off that crazy 3-round war against Kai Kamaka. He's fighting again on Fight Island. Got an interview with him, and I'm working on getting a couple more interviews on this from this card, maybe in the next couple of days. So look out for that. Go to the YouTube. Actually, you're on the YouTube right now. Push that subscribe button, man.
Yeah, looks like a decent card. Oh, Impa Kasangano is back. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Quick turnaround for him. A lot of fights here. Yeah, as I said, One Championship back. Quick look at that. Bellator as well. Continuing in Europe. Here's this one card.
Oh, next week, Bellator will be in Paris, I believe.
Yeah.
And so let's go to that. Let's see.
Here was the one card quickly.
Okay. You got some interviews coming from there, right?
Yeah, I'll be having that Chatri doing a conference call on Tuesday morning. I'll have that. I've got Angela Lee. She'll be here with me on Wednesday. Obviously discussing pregnancy. We'll be asking her, when she plans to return, if she does plan to return, and what division. I think one is going to be doing an atomweight Grand Prix. So I've also got Denise Sambawanga on Monday. We'll ask her for her thoughts on this Grand Prix. Maybe she's a bit miffed, having had the title shot. Now she's got to go through a tournament, it looks like, to get another one. But anyway,
yeah, but she's the complete favorite for that too.
Yeah, well, we might do something to break down the possibilities of that tournament. That could be quite fun. Who will be in it and who can win? Look out for that. Yeah, here's the card for one. Only 6 fights. They'll be filming a few others for another event, I think. And then
we'll be doing a live show during that.
We'll be doing a live show.
Event. Hashtag watch one.
Watch one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, we could do a straw poll on the name. I'm not too fussed about it either.
All right. Well, if we go to Bellator next week, I got a couple interviews off from this card. I got Ross Houston, who's making his Bellator debut in the main event against Michael Venom Page, MVP. He says he's gonna go in there and get the submission against MVP. Let's see if he can go in there and do that. There hasn't been nobody that has submitted MVP. Only one person has beaten MVP, who is Douglas Lima, who's the reigning champ. I got another interview with Oliver Enkamp. He's a Swedish striker. Swedish striker. He fights very similar to Wonderboy Thompson. He's a very exciting striker, man. He's a fun guy to watch. A young guy. He's actually 2-0 in Bellator since being released by the UFC. Both first round knockouts. So we'll see what happens in that fight. Other than that, I'm working on a couple other guys. I got Dominic Wooding. He's fighting what is it? Diada. He's fighting Dominic Wooding, is a bantamweight prospect out of the UK. I got an interview with him. Go check that out. And I'm working on another interview, a big one from this card. I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to say who it is and then not actually it pan out. So hopefully I get that out in the next couple of days. See what happens. But this card is not too bad. You got Melvin Manhoef coming back, Czech Congo versus Timothy Johnson. That's a big fight in the heavyweight division. You got rising veteran Bion. He's fighting Melvin Manhoef, and I'm just like, man, that's a big difference in height right there. Melvin Manhoef, and they're fighting at 205, which is crazy. Kerry Brazier, he's a veteran, a guy that's trained out in Thailand multiple times, a lot of experience. He's another guy to watch. Other than that,
Friday's going to be fun, isn't it? We're doing Bellator all morning and then one championship all night. So I better get some sleep Thursday night. Yeah, Bellator now on Thursday nights in the US, so Friday mornings here, and obviously one championship Friday nights in Asia. So those Fridays are going to be fun. Yeah, CBS Sports keeps going with that. We've got Cyborg coming up soon as well. Maybe we can chat to her soon. I know you
definitely.
You and Cyborg are good buddies, aren't you, John?
Oh, we're chummy. We vacation together in the summers.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've talked enough, so we'll leave it. Yeah, hopefully back next week. We can try out this new picks system with these guys. I know who've got this app. Make it a little more official. We can make a competition out of it, and we can hold John accountable when he gets his picks wrong, and we can hold everyone accountable, including myself, because I'm sure I would have done just as bad, John. Don't feel so bad.
Oh, good. I'm not worried about it.
You're going to have a bunch of angry people in the comments, I think.
I hope so.
Yeah. You thrive on the hate, don't you?
I thrive on the hate. Like, if they hate me, it's better, because at the end of the day, I don't even think about it. I'll read it and then I'll laugh at it, and then I'll just go on with what I'm doing with my life. It doesn't really bother me too much. But if they really hate it that much, then hey, I love your hate.
Wasn't there one guy who commented on the preview? He said like, "Oh my god, these are the worst picks ever in the world."
Exactly, and he was right. So I give you respect, man, because I got every pick wrong in the main card. So I respect your opinion, and you know, and maybe you should put your picks down in the comments on our videos so we can see what your picks are, and make a comparison, man. You know, I'm down for that too. So if you're watching this, put your picks in the video. If you're watching this, no matter what, put your picks in the video, and you know, leave a comment below. And yeah, and if you see anything, you know, that's wrong, call us out on it. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm down for the constructive criticism. So please get involved.
One of the worst picks I've heard for this event. Even the arguments doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
And John was very diplomatic and said, "Thank you for your criticism."
Exactly. You know, I'm down for the criticism. I'm not.
It's all a bit of fun, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what it is. Hopefully this this app that you're talking about, we could get that rolling soon and get these people involved in that app, and
yeah,
and then we can make a group. You know, the SCMP group fantasy.
Make a few more varied picks, because it's never good to just listen to one person, is it? That's why we always like having Chris as well. Chris, if you're listening, where you at, man? We need you back. Stop ducking. He's ducking, isn't he? Ducking John.
Probably.
No. All right. Anyway, thanks, John. As always, and thanks to anyone for watching. We'll see you again next week. It's going to be a busy week, so yeah, we'll be back on Monday, I think, with some previews at least. We'll have all the recaps Friday and Saturday, Sunday. God, there's so many shows, isn't there? All right, yeah. Thanks again. We'll see you all again next time.